Hello everybody, it's Colin Ellis here. Welcome to this culture briefing for Thursday the 27th of October. I'm here in London flicking through the papers and finding those stories about workplace culture and providing some commentary on how you and your organisation can ensure that you don't make it into the media with some of these things. There's a couple of stories. Listen, I promise you, I'm looking for the good news stories. Every time I read the paper, I'm like, come on, there's got to be a really good news culture story. I didn't find one today. I'll do my best. Maybe I'll buy all of the papers and look to find at least one in there. All right, the first thing I want to draw your attention to is this story here. It's about the UK music industry adopting a new code of conduct to fight racism, which is good news. What's not so good news is the research that actually led to this, and that's, kind of almost 3/4 of black music professionals said they'd experienced racism in the industry, which is absolutely appalling. And it's the reality for many minority groups in the workplace today who suffer harassment, bullying, microaggression, and I don't think organisations do enough to talk about what these things actually look like often. And don't get me wrong, I think that developing a code of conduct is a fabulous idea. I think our cultures, the foundation for any kind of workplace culture is policy, procedures, essentially guardrails. There was another story in the paper yesterday about a football club. A player had worn an anti-government slogan on one of his boots, and then the club had then banned it. Right? Kind of, fair enough. But what the club should have done is outlined in advance kind of what those guardrails were, so that kind of employees, or players in this instance, employees know where they stand, what they can do and what they can't do. I think sometimes what we do is we make an assumption that everybody knows how to behave. They don't. Right? In an ideal world, everyone would know how to behave, everyone would know how to treat everybody well, but the reality is we just don't. And so what are we doing here as part of this code of conduct, which is going to get supported by the Independent Standards Authority? Okay, good, so that's got integrity. It'll stand for all those working in music in the UK, from freelance technical staff to artists working for large companies. Great. Labels and organisations will commit to creating a safe working environment, to strive for inclusion over diversity, and to undertake mandatory training, data collection and accountability processes. Good, all good stuff. However, what does that practically mean? What are the actual steps that people need to take in the music industry or in any other industry in order to do these things? So we say things like create a safe working environment. Do you know how to do that? It's tough to do, right? Especially if you've never been trained how to do it. Again, it's one of those assumptions. We assume that when someone reaches a particular level in a hierarchy, that they know how to do all these things. They know how to create high-performing teams. They know how to be inclusive and diverse by default. They understand when they're actually recruiting someone kind of how to make sure that there's fair and equal representation and they're not swayed by their own biases. A lot of this happens as a result of behaviour, as a result of the culture that you were brought up in, the people that you surround yourself with. And so whilst mandatory training is a good thing, because we want to make sure that people absolutely know this is what we mean, what's the follow-up? Now, it says the accountability, great, but there has to, in order for things to change, there has to be consequence for action or non-action. All right? You don't want your organisation to be in the media because, you've been racist, sexist, any of the other things. You don't want that. And so what you need to do is not make any assumptions. You really have to bring it right back to the base level. We're still in an environment where we promote people based on length of tenure or technical expertise, and not about how they treat other people in the environment that they create. And even for someone like me who trains people on how to build great culture, there's still almost a wariness from some organisations to actually invest in it. They're like, what kind of return do we get? It's like, well, the return is you get good human beings who create safe spaces for other human beings to bring their best selves, from which you get great vibrant cultures, and that's where you get results. Is that not reason enough? So I think it's to be applauded. I think the industry, it's right that they create a new code of conduct, but the training they provide has to make sure that it addresses the biases that people have. It actually brings to light what is a microaggression, what constitutes harassment, what does it look like when we're hiring people, what words do we use, what language do we use, all of those kind of things to make sure that we are kind of proactive in fighting racism. The other story that I wanted to bring to light is around the comedian and actor Eddie Izzard. So you can see it over here, Eddie Izzard. And if you don't know, Eddie Izzard identifies as female. She's also running for the Labour candidacy for Sheffield Central. So she's looking to get into Parliament. I mean, God knows why, it's a bit of a cesspit at the minute. And a Conservative MP made vile and disgusting, essentially transphobic comments around Eddie Izzard. Now, I'm not going to give any kind of airtime to the comments that this individual made. One of his fellow MPs called them vile and disgusting, and I completely agree. Members of the LGBTQ community face these kind of comments and again microaggressions on a daily basis. And again, my question is, where's the consequence? This has no place in our society. It has no place in our workplaces. And it happens all over the world. All over the world. This happens in workplaces. Don't just think, oh, that's politics. Oh, it's happening in politics. Yes, it's politics. But it could easily be a particular workplace. So again, I come back to that word consequence. What should happen in this situation is this particular person should be forced to make a public apology to Eddie Izzard, to his face, preferably, and he should take the time to listen to what it means to be trans in the community today, such that he's more educated at the end of that. Empathy is only possible if we take the time to listen, if we take the time to listen to understand, not listen to respond. I think we're so bad at listening. It's one of those things that we're the most distracted generation of people ever. You think about your workplace, is most people listen to respond, they don't listen to understand. So in this particular instance, it's an individual needs to listen to understand such that he can address his behaviour, and if he does it again, he should be removed. That's what we mean by consequence. This has no place in society. Anyway, I promise I will try and find some more good news stories tomorrow, but I hope that's been useful and you've enjoyed this culture briefing today. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.